You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo!
You are watching the leaders in full immersion gaming, and this is the pregame show only on the NBL Network.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome one and all to another edition of the NBL Live pregame show, and that's brought to you each and every week by our graphic sponsor, web3ks.com. You hear it over and over every week. They do that overlay here on NBL Live, and a ton of the other graphics you see on this show and on other shows across the network. And they're super affordable, so if you or anyone you know needs graphics done for an affordable price, head over to web3ks.com. They're the leaders in affordable graphic design. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. I'm always you, and we got a great game on tap for you tonight. I've been waiting for this one all week. It is an NFC North matchup between the Chicago Bears leading the division and the Detroit Lions. This is a week 15 matchup. So we're coming right down to playoff time, folks. This is the real deal. These are not games that mean nothing. The Bears, top of that division, the Lions 2 games back in an unfamiliar position. They're usually you see the Lions at the top of the NFC North. They've lost, I think, 2 division games in the last 2 cycles. Not season, cycles, but this season is a different story, and the Chicago Bears are tough. All right, before we talk about the game at hand, let's remind everyone, right here on the network, we got another edition of BTF Jacksonville Jaguars. That came out last night, and it's a great episode. You got to check this out. We got 2 Building the Franchise shows right now here on the NBL Network. If you haven't seen them before, it is an in-depth look into the franchise from the eyes of the owner. And we got 2 of them, the Detroit Lions, BTF Detroit Lions, hosted by Bomber. That comes out on Saturdays. This one coming out on Tuesdays with Unisolated. And you got 2 teams in sort of different positions. The Lions, a team that are fighting for a playoff spot. They're still on that journey trying to get another Super Bowl title, defending their title from season 25. And then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars struggling out of the gate. Not in the playoffs, but they're going to be looking at building through the draft, making this team better each and every year. You can see this team get better and better each year through the moves that they make. So check it out. It's on the network under the BTF playlist. And if you want to be notified each and every time one of these shows go live, just hit that subscribe button right down below. And you'll be notified when we put a new show up or we go live with one of our NBL Live games. So it's a real easy way to make sure you're involved. All right, let's take a look at some of the players to watch today. First, on the side of the Detroit Lions, Golden Tate. He's having a great season so far, but you'll notice one area where you may be like, well, maybe he's not doing what he's supposed to. 490 yards through the air, averaging 18.1 yards per catch, only a 3.2 yak average, only 3 touchdowns. And you can read this one of 2 ways. One way is Golden Tate just gets a lot of catches downfield in tight coverage. He goes down immediately, but he makes the tough catch. On the other hand, you can sit there and make the argument that he's not getting in the end zone enough, and this is a guy who Matt Stafford has a lot of chemistry with. So watch him today, because I'm not convinced that Golden Tate isn't primed for a breakout game. Only 3 touchdowns. I think you might see him get into the end zone once or twice today against the Chicago Bears. And one of the guys you'll see matched up against Golden Tate, or as Bomber calls him, Golden Gray, it's Kyle Fuller, and he's having a really nice year. 3 picks, 7 pass deflections. He does have a sack and 54 tackles on the season. Fuller gets moved around. You may see him on Tate. You may see him moved around in the slot. You may see him on the outside, but he can lock him down. He knows how to play the ball in the air, but the big one is he's a big hitter. He comes up in run support and makes the big hits both in the backfield and at the second level. And then, of course, his coverage skills are second to none. So watch out for Kyle Fuller. See if he matches up with Golden Tate. See where the Bears decide to put him defensively. Getting some predictions in. Again, get those predictions in the chat. I'll be reading those throughout the first quarter. And let's take a look at this injury report. One update, Rick Wagner. He will be playing today. He is back today. Amir Abdullah out. And the big one for the Lions, no Matt Stafford. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at the quarterback position for the Lions. On the side of the Bears, a couple guys who they should get back soon. Eddie Goldman and Jakeem Grant going to be back on the field before you know it. As we head down to crunch time, folks, we're about ready to send it out to the game. This is a fascinating matchup, and I say that a lot. We get a lot of great games here on NBL Live, but this one is really interesting. You have two ways to go about this one. You can either go on the side of history, which is the Lions have owned the NFC North. Owner Bomber, this team knows how to deal with division games. They know how to win them. They may have struggled this year at times, but they're going to pull out a win. Or you can look at the other way, which is this Lions team is not the same Lions team we've seen in the past. It's a new era. It's a new reign for the Chicago Bears. Let's see what we got in the chat. A lot of people picking the Lions. We have Porter picking 42-13 Bears. I don't think it'll be that one. I think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. I think this is a team you can't doubt, guys. I know Rick Wagner is back, but there's no Matt Stafford for the Detroit Lions, and the Chicago Bears have been so good all year. I think the Bears are going to make a statement tonight on NBL Live. They're going to come out with a win. I'm going to say it's going to be 28-24. It's going to be a moderate scoring game. It's going to be close. The Lions certainly could win this one, and they certainly could run away with this one. Bears, though, going on the road in Detroit, I think they're going to get a win, 28-24. That is what we got for the pregame show. We appreciate everybody tuning in. It's time to send it out to the game. Coming up next, it's a Week 15 matchup between two teams still fighting for the division. This one isn't sealed yet, but a Bears win today could seal the fate of the Bears getting a big division title and breaking the reign of the Detroit Lions. It's the Lions and the Bears, and it's coming up right now here on NBL Live.
My name is Rex Dixon.
Craig Stein.
Clint from EA Sports.
You're watching NBL.
You're watching the NBL Network. And you're watching the MBLN Network.
Empty backfield for Atkins. He's going to be dropping back to pass here on 4th down. He's looking deep over the middle. He has a man. It's Brandon Cooks who catches it, makes a man miss.
Oh, that's
Woodard is dropping back. He's got open over the middle.
Wow. That big playmaker ability as he finds him again.
Into the end zone. Another touchdown. Oh, and it is game time, folks. Do we have a great game on tap for you today? It's Week 15 action in the NFC North between the 10-3 Chicago Bears and the 8-5 Detroit Lions. Lions trying to stay in the hunt for another NFC North title. The Bears looking to break really the Lions' reign. This Lions team has had a stranglehold on the division. And so far, the Bears have been on top. Again, they're sitting there at 10-3. We appreciate everybody tuning in to NBL Live broadcast number 129. I'm OSU, and we got a great game on tap. Let's get to the scores we see in the chat. Damien, who is joining us for the 5th time. Appreciate you coming back and watching, Damien. He says 42-35 Bears. Let's see what else we got. Will Secret saying Lions 21, Bears 10. Playa saying Lions 2014. We got NBL Bleacher Report, which big shout out to the Bleacher Report, by the way. Follow them on Twitter at NBL_Bleacher. They did that injury report on the pregame show. Big shout out to the guys over at Bleacher Report. They're coming in 21-21, going for the tie. I think if you bet on that one in Vegas, you'd make some moolah on that one. As it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions. And you'll notice an unfamiliar situation. No Matt Stafford at quarterback. He is out for at least the rest of the regular season. It's Brad Kaya going to get the start for the Lions. Going to hand it off to Washington up the middle. Washington filling in for the injured Amir Abdullah. He's going to lose 3 on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 13. This game, again, the Detroit Lions have been absolutely dominant in the division. I want to make sure I get my number right. Yes, I had it right. 14 seasons in a row, this Lions team has won the NFC North. 14 seasons. That's unbelievable. Their streak, they're trying to keep it alive. As a nice throw there from Kaya to Eric Ebron. He comes up with a big catch at the 39-yard line and a first down for the Lions. Yeah, and again, this team has won 14 straight NFC North titles, but struggling this year, 8-5. Started out strong. I believe they started out 6-1, but just have sort of fallen off the tracks. The injury to Matt Stafford certainly doesn't help, and they've had no running game to speak of, especially with Amir Abdullah out. So, Lions still trying to figure things out on offense. On 1st and 10, Stafford off his back foot. He's going to find Marvin Jones Jr. underneath. Takes a big hit at the 45-yard line. Called the 46. Going to bring up a 2nd and 3. And that's going to be an interesting... an interesting thing to watch today as to how Brad Kaya works the offense and if Chicago's able to get any pressure on him, because we've seen in the NBL in games, quarterbacks, especially young quarterbacks, if you can get some pressure on them, if you can force them into some bad throws, you can sometimes get the train to sort of fall off the track. So we'll see what the Bears do on defense. A great defense, by the way, number 3 scoring defense in the NBL. They are the number 9 passing defense, top 5 rushing defense. This Lions team is 28th in rushing, but they're the number 1 passing offense in the NBL. They just got to find a way to put it in the end zone. As the handoff is to Washington. And Washington's going to go down at the 46-yard line. No gain on the play. Going to bring up a big 3rd and 2 for the Chicago Bears defense, looking to make a statement on the first drive here on the road. And again, Rick Wagner, who's been out for a couple weeks, and that's been perhaps a point of contention with Detroit's struggles. Is that due to the fact that they don't have one of their leaders, their big right tackle, Rick Wagner? But there's just been too many things going wrong in Detroit. And now with Wagner back, we'll see if they're able to have any more success. This is a shotgun formation for Brad Kaya. 2 wide receivers over to the left, 1 over to the right. Kaya dropping back to pass on 3rd and 2. He's looking underneath for Royal, who's able to catch the ball at the 47-yard line. He gets a first down. Chicago, interesting play there on a 3rd and 2. They played very soft in the middle. And Detroit, even with Brad Kaya, these receivers know how to run routes and saw them dropping back in that cover 3 and was able to toss it underneath for a first down. Now 5 wide receivers for the young Kaya. 3 over to the right, 2 over to the left. Watch Golden Tate split out wide to the left. He is one of our players to watch today as Kaya dropping back to pass. He's going to be looking down the middle of the field. Has a man wide open. It's Eddie Royal, and he's going to walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Lions. The crowd is into it, and that looked just like the Lions of old, utilizing some different routes to make the defenders bite. Looked like they were trying to maybe set up a screen on the right side, and Royal ran right up the seam, and it's a touchdown, Lions. They're up 7-0 here at home. Plenty of time left, though, but that was very Detroit Lions-esque. If you ever watched an NBL game, you've seen that the Lions can score in, it seems like, about 15 seconds. This one a little longer than that one, but under 3 minutes. They are very explosive when they are on target, and on that one, Kaya had no trouble moving the ball. Brad Kaya, the rookie out of Miami's 6th round pick for the Detroit Lions, getting a chance to show his stuff today. And I know the Lions like this kid. They very much like it. Like him, as the handoff on first down is to Jordan Howard. He'll get 2 yards on the play. They like him, maybe not as a replacement for Stafford, because you don't know how long Matt Stafford's going to play, but he's definitely a very good backup. We're having a lot of questions in the chat. I'm going to address this now. Our mods are working hard on it. And big shout out to our mods right now, Porter and Shadow Rose, a.k.a. on Iceland. Again, check out BTF, Jacksonville Jaguars, hosted by Shadow on the NBL Network. But there is, if the people come in, they ask all the time, so we'll just clear it up now. Our mods are reserved for NBL members. They are network employees. So, yeah, we appreciate everybody who tunes in. Please come into the chat, interact in the chat, but we don't give out mods unless you're in the NBL network and you're on the staff. So, but we appreciate everybody who's interested in doing that. As on 3rd and 6, look at the pass. Look at him get upfield and get the first down. Mitch Trubisky looked all lost in the backfield, recognized that there was some soft coverage on the inside, was able to get 7 yards on the run. Trubisky, not one of those quarterbacks who is known for his legs, but on that play, he used his, well, mostly his leg, but partially his brain to realize that he had an opportunity. As on 1st and 10, it's a deep pass that is just straight up dropped. Flag down on the play. It's going to be a hold and bring this back 1st and 20. For the Chicago Bears. That's the one thing you can't do against this Detroit Lions team is make mistakes, and we saw it in the game on Monday, that when mistakes come up, whether it's not just interceptions, it's not just fumbles, it's penalties, it's missed tackles, it's missed blocking assignments. Those are what kill you. They may not show up on the stat sheet, but they can kill you. As they put him in a 1st and 20, try to get something going with Jordan Howard. He can't get anything. He'll lose a yard on the play, and he is down, clutching what appears to be maybe his wrist or arm area. Hard to tell on that one. Will Secret making a great point. Battle the rookie quarterbacks, Mitch Trubisky and Brad Kaya. I don't think anybody saw the Brad Kaya-Trubisky matchup coming in the NBL season. 2nd and 19, shotgun formation for Trubisky. 3 wide receivers over to the left. Blitz coming, blitz open, and Trubisky's going to go down. He's got to get rid of that ball. As Glover Quinn up the left side, gets in the backfield, brings down for a 5-yard loss. Going to bring up a 3rd and 25. This is going to be a tough one to convert. This Lions defense, middle of the pack. The Bears are going to have success today. They're going to have to run the ball effectively. It looks like they're setting up a little screen pass. It's complete to the left side, but it's not going to go for nearly enough. Give him 2 yards on the play. As we're getting word, Jordan Howard. Oh, this could be a big loss. Broken collarbone. He will be out for a while. And that could be a big loss. The collarbones, depends how well that heals, but you're probably looking at about 7-week injury, which we're in week 15 right now. He might not be able to come back until the Super Bowl, if that. That's a huge loss for this Bears team, as the Lions able to get up to the 36-yard line on the punt. Yeah, it's a big loss, and especially against the Lions team, whose defense is one of the worst against the rush. Gave up a lot of yards on the ground, but now no Jordan Howard, so we've lost 2 stars. No Matt Stafford coming into the game for the Lions. No Jordan Howard now for the Chicago Bears. Brad Kaya in the shotgun, looking to replicate that last drive. What a drive he led. Jones Jr. coming in motion from the right. It's going to be Kaya dropping back to pass on 1st and 10. He'll toss it underneath to Marvin Jones. Couple catches underneath. It's going to be just short of the first down to the 44-yard line. Bring up a 2nd and 2. Yeah, and a good point made by Kyle Matt Miller. Howard carries the Bears. That hurts. As you can see on the stats on the right side of the screen, as Kyle dropping back to pass on 2nd and 2. He'll toss it to Marvin Jones. Once again, he can't hang on to that one. Nice hit. And another injury on the play. We'll get word on that one when we do. But a good point. The Bears are the number 10. They're top 10 rushing attack, and with Jordan Howard, they're very good, but passing has not been their forte. Bottom half of the league, and now it may be on Mitch Trubisky to move the ball down the field. Have there been any significant trades made in the league this year? Nope, not really. 3rd and 2 now for the Lions. 3 wide receivers over to the right. 1 over to the left. Looks like they're setting up a screen to Washington, and great coverage by the Chicago Bears, and Washington is down on the play, taking a big hit and a loss of 5. Jay Evan asking, have there been any significant trades made in the league this year? Not particularly the NBL. Very much a league that is built on, we have very strict trade regulations. So it's a league built on building through the draft. Haven't had any major trades, some minor ones for 2nd and 3rd round picks, but nothing over the top. TJ Davis, welcome to the chat. Appreciate you tuning into NBL Live broadcast number 129, almost at 130, folks. So we appreciate everybody if this is your first time tuning in, or if you've tuned in for all 129, we appreciate you joining us tonight. 1st and 10. And it's going to be a handoff on 1st down. Trying to get something going up the middle is Jeremy Langford, the former Michigan State Spartan. As Marvin Jones looks like he will be fine to return to action. A sigh of relief for the Lions, as Jones has been a main part of their offense early in this game. But yeah, a couple of injuries already tonight. We'll see if that injury bug continues up. 2nd and 9. Trubisky under center. 3 wide receivers. He's got Langford in the backfield. On 2nd down, it is a handoff to Jeremy Langford. He's going to go down for no gain to the 22-yard line. Washington, they're saying it's just back spasms. He'll bring him back in the game. But at the end of the day, on that one run, if you watched it, that's one that I think Jordan Howard probably would have gotten 10, 15 yards out of. Langford's just got to stay the course, go right up the middle. He had a gaping hole and had the linebacker shading to the outside of the line. Instead, he tries to bounce it outside. The linebacker sitting right there. Now it's a 3rd and 9. Bears going to have to convert this one through the air. Trubisky in the shotgun, 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the left, 1 over to the right. And it is Trubisky dropping back to pass now. Looking, lots of time, looking deep over the center. Lucky that wasn't intercepted. Can't float that ball up there, folks, over the middle of the field. Too many ball hawking safeties here in the NBL, and Chicago's going to have another 3 and out. And early in this game, and I want to say, if you missed our game on Monday night, first of all, one of the greatest plays I've ever seen was in that game. But the Carolina Panthers started out up 10-0, and they ended up losing by 40. So you never know what will happen, but early in this game, Detroit's certainly in control. Detroit up 7-0 as we're almost at the end of the first quarter here in Detroit. Week 15 action. Getting down to the playoffs. And folks, hit that subscribe button down below because we will be broadcasting every round of the playoffs. We have a big Super Bowl show. Have it every year. You can check out any of our Super Bowls under the NBL Live tab on the network. But we do broadcast the Super Bowl. We do doubleheader for the AFC and NFC Championship game. So it's a big production here in the playoffs. You can get your fill of Madden football. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of it. It's on 1st and 10. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. For Kaya dropping back to pass. He'll look over to the left side. It is complete. Golden Tate flag down on the play. And it is going to be a hold against Taylor Decker, the very talented left tackle out of Ohio State. But he's going to get tagged with a holding call. It's going to back him up to a 1st and 20. Chicago was unable to dig themselves out of a holding penalty. We'll see if this Detroit offense can do it. As on 1st and 20, we're actually not going to get that play off. That's going to take us to the second quarter with your score right now. Detroit 7, Chicago nothing. Chicago looking to keep hold of the NFC North. We're in week 15, so Chicago with a win in any one of their last 3 games, they clinch the division. A loss, and Detroit has a window. I actually have to look at the tiebreakers. He might need. Let's see. He's at 10-3. That'll put him at 11. Detroit's at 8. So if Detroit wins out and Chicago loses out, they'll be tied at the top. I don't know who has the tiebreaker. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me who has the tiebreakers between the Lions and the Bears. Namely, who won that first game between them. As on 1st and 20. No deep safety for the Chicago Bears. Brad Kaya under center. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Tate out to the left. Jones out to the right. Kaya changing up the play. Doing his best Matt Stafford impression. 1st and 20. It's a play action pass. Kaya rolling out to the right side. Looking. He's got all the time in the world. Look at how many Bears drop back in coverage. And Kaya's just going to take off and try to get something. He'll get 9 yards on the play. The Bears only sent 3. They dropped 8 into coverage. Kaya realized nobody was going to be open, so he just took off and ran and got 9 yards, bring it back to a 2nd and 11. Lions won the first game, so a Lions win here. The Bears, the Lions will have the tiebreaker over the Bears. So the Bears would have to win 2 of the games, would have to win both of their games, and the Lions would have to win out. So it'll be interesting to watch this division down the stretch. 2nd and 11. Kai dropping back to pass, looking over to the left side, right, wide open. I don't know how the Bears missed him, and I think he has the first down. No, they're going to call him short. 3rd and 1. Boy, that was real close. And look at that. That's the key, folks, and we see it in the NBL all the time. They had a 1st and 20, a holding penalty. You never want that. But Detroit didn't try to get it back all at once. They took 9 yards on the first play. They took 9 yards there, and we're all now back to a 3rd and 1 as opposed to a 3rd and 19 or 3rd and 25, whatever you see. I formation for Kaya. On 3rd down, it's going to be handoff to Washington, and Washington's going to get the first down. He'll get to the 38-yard line. So we have another injury on the play. The injuries piling up. We've had a lot of these injuries come back in, but the big loss, if you missed it earlier, Jordan Howard of the Chicago Bears. He is out with a broken collarbone, probably going to miss a significant amount of time, especially as we're getting down to the playoffs. So that's a big loss for the Bears, and that'll be interesting to see if they can hold on to the division without their star running back. 1st and 10. 3 wide receivers out there for Kai. Jones coming in motion on 1st down. He's going to hand it off to Washington, trying to get something to go over the right side of the formation. Nothing doing there. 4 carries, not a single yard for Washington. And bring up to 2nd and 10. Dwayne Washington, 2nd-year player out of Washington, so that's apropos. 2nd and 10. Play action pass for Kai, rolling out to the left side, looking way over there for the comeback route. Could not hook up with, I believe that was Golden Tate on the right side. Going to bring up a 3rd and 10 as, oh, man. The hits keep coming, folks. This time for the Detroit Lions, Rick Wagner, who's playing his first game back after breaking his foot. A compound fracture. That'll take him out for the season. The Lions will not have their right tackle. And that's a killer for a guy who fought back from a foot fracture. He was out for, I believe, 7 weeks. Comes back, and a compound fracture, if you don't know what that is, that's pretty much where the bone just straight up comes through the skin and breaks in multiple places. That is brutal. So that's a big loss for the Lions. We wish the best to Rick Wagner in his recovery. 3rd and 10. It's a play action pass. Blitz gets there. Down goes Kyle. The first sack of the day for this Bears defense as the Bears sent a beautiful blitz. The Lions played right into their hand on the play action, and the Lions are going to be forced to punt. It's going to be on the Bears offense to get something going. Kyle asking, did they bring Wagner back early? Yes, I believe he was brought back a week early, and it ended up biting him. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know, did not say where that break was. It'll be interesting to see if it was that foot that has been rehabbed or if it was something else. So that's a big loss for the Lions, and we'll see how that affects their pass protections. The next play, no coincidence over the right side. Big blitz came, and down went Kaya. 1st and 10. Chicago needing more than what appears to be the net. I think they're all the way back. -2 yards so far in the game. Man coming to motion on 1st down. It's a play action pass for Trubisky. Looking. He's going to toss this underneath. It's complete. Makes a man miss. He's into enemy territory. And a 1st down at the 40-yard line. And as we said, discipline so important in this game. And right there, the Lions man coverage. 1 missed tackle. And see you later. A pass that should have gone for 9 yards. Ends up going all the way down to the 40-yard line. Chicago is in business. 1st and 10, it's a toss play over the left side. Jeremy Langford who cuts it up the middle. He's going to have the 1st down, and the Bears have a little momentum going as they're down to the 30-yard line. Another 1st down for the Chicago Bears offense. A 42 yards of total offense so far for Chicago, and that's pretty much all been on this drive, folks. 2 3-and-outs early. They pretty much only moved backwards. Excuse me, that was Meredith with the carry. He was into the game. And he took that pitch and cut it. Or excuse me, Meredith with the catch on that play before, the 34-yard catch. And Meredith having a great game. Langford with that carry and 2 big chunk plays for the Chicago Bears. 3 wide receivers out there. They're going to hand up to Langford, who cuts it back up the middle. Beautiful cut. He gets 6 yards on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Bears, looking to tie this game up and keep hold again. If they win today, they are in the they're already in the driver's seat, sitting there at 10 and 3. But if they win today, that'll put them at 11 wins. They just will need to win one of their final games to clinch the division. Detroit will have to win out, so their magic number will be down to 1. 2nd and 4. It's a handoff on the jet sweep. Maybe getting a little too cute there is right. He's going to get nothing on the play. Going to bring up a 3rd and 5. Timbo, our very own Timbo, member of the Bleacher Report team in the chat. The Bears are battling. Yeah, this is not the Bears-Lions games of the past. This Bears team is much better. This is a little draw play to Jeremy Langford. He doesn't get anything, though. The Lions were ready for that one. And now Chicago going to be forced to punt. Maybe a little scared on that play to force a turnover, put it on the arm of Mitch Trubisky. They just take the draw play, and they're going to take their 3-point. Ball is down. The kick is up, and it goes right through the uprights. Chicago cuts it to a 7-3 game. Cool Del Guy, one of the participants in our NBL EA Access tournament and a good friend of the NBL Network, joining us in the chat saying, hey guys, looks like a good one, just got here, good to see ya. We appreciate you tuning in to NBL Live and appreciate everybody out there. I'm OSU, your host for the evening. 7-3 Detroit on top. Jicky J-Rod saying, Cohen's so nice. Hope he isn't on the bench while Langford is playing. I can actually tell you. Detroit! Here we go now. Detroit! 1st and 10 for Brad Kaya and the Detroit Lions. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Kaya dropping back to pass on 1st and 10. He'll find Ebron underneath. Kaya mainly working underneath so far in this game. Ebron's going to get 5 yards. Welcome to the network, baby. Bring up a 2nd and 5. Big shout out to Jose Reyes with the subscription. Appreciate you subscribing to the NBL Network. And again, hit that subscribe button if you want to be notified each and every time we are live with one of our NBL Live games or any one of the great programs we have here on the network. Now 2nd and 5 for the Lions. Kai dropping back to pass, looking underneath once again. He finds Marvin Jones, and this is not the Lions team of the passes. It looks like there is an injury on the play. Don't know who it is, but we'll find out soon enough. This is a Lions team that used to be very vertical offense. With the struggles they've had in the passing game, they've worked more of a West Coast offense, underneath throws, quick route. It's working so far in this game. First and 10. I don't think Cohen. I don't see Cohen on the roster for the Detroit Lions right now, or excuse me, for the Bears right now. Is that one tossed underneath again? He's gonna get 8 yards on the play. I don't see Cohen though. Oh yeah, Bleacher Report. Hey, so shout out to the Bleacher Report getting me there. You just caught him, so. No need for me to waste 4 minutes looking for that one. 2nd and 1 now for the Detroit Lions. We're nearing the 2-minute warning here in the first half. 7-3. Detroit on top, looking to add to their lead at the Bears. A nice drive down the field, stalled inside the 25-yard line, but they got 3 points out of it. And we saw in our game on Monday how important getting points out of every drive is. Not just for the fact that you're cutting into leads and you're getting points on the board, but just for confidence, just for a little momentum. Pistol formation for Kai. He's got 3 wide receivers out there, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Ebron on the right side of that formation. It's Kai dropping back to pass here on 2nd and 1. And surprise, surprise, toss it underneath to Eric Ebron. Ebron's got a nice run up to the 41-yard line as they moved into enemy territory, as Demps was the injured party, and he'll be back in soon. Just banged up a little bit. Put a little icy hot on that one. Get a kiss from your mama, get back on the field. (7-3) Detroit on top. Week 15 action, folks. And this is coming down to the wire. We have interesting, the playoff picture getting very interesting here in the NBL as we hit the 2-minute warning. Not a lot of clinches so far in terms of divisions. I believe, and I'm sure somebody out there who's more informed than I am can confirm this, but I believe at this point we've had 3 divisions clinch so far. The Steelers clinched the AFC North. There's a little screen pass set up to Washington. He's got some room out there. Nice pursuit there, bringing him down for a 9-yard loss. I believe the Steelers, I believe the Giants have clinched the NFC East, and I believe the Chargers have clinched the AFC West. But all the other divisions still technically up for grabs. This one, depending how this game goes, if Detroit can come out with a win, very much in play. Can I re-nick the subscriber dance live? No. Just keep subscribing and you'll be able to see the dance. So get those new subscribers in here. As Theo Riddick took the Wildcat handoff and regretted the fact that he got the ball there as he loses a yard and gets introduced to the Chicago Bears defensive line. Now a 3rd and 3 for the Lions as we're down under 2 minutes. We're at 1:40 to go. Will the Bears clinch a division, Kyle? Bears clinch a division with a win. They'll be at 11. Yes, because there'll be 2 games to play. So a Bears win today does clinch them the division. I was doing math in my head. Not very good at the quick math. 3rd and 3. It's a play-action pass for Brad Kaya, and he's going to toss this under to Washington, who makes a man miss, and that missed tackle was the killer as Washington was able to get past the first down. Be interesting to see if Chicago has any sort of inclination to play more hard flats, to play more cover 2s and underneath, because Detroit just tossing this one underneath all day long, and the Chicago Bears don't seem inclined to stop it whatsoever. Detroit's going to use a timeout. Jim Caldwell, look at those whiskers. He's got that nice little the graying mustache at this point, right above the lip. 7-3 Detroit on top, minute 12 to go. And Detroit with a touchdown here can really get in control of this game, as the Bears will get the ball to start the second half. So any sort of score here will help the Lions' cause. So on 1st and 10, it's going to be handoff to Washington over the left side. And a nice job bringing him down at the 28-yard line. The cornerback coming over and making the play. That was Callahan. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 8 after a 2-yard gain. This Lions rushing attack has struggled. I'm not going to just say this year. They struggle every year because this is a Lions team that doesn't like to run the ball. They've not built for that. They're built to pass it 45, 50 times a game. So you don't see a whole lot of handoffs, but it's come back to bite them as they haven't been able to do anything since Matt Stafford's gone out. The run game needs to get going to give them a little more deception as Washington bounces outside. He'll get up near the first down marker to the 22-yard line. 40 seconds and counting here in the first half. Yeah, Kyle with a great point. Field goal doesn't change a whole lot, but a touchdown would be huge for Detroit. And absolutely to go up by 11. And especially with the Chicago Bears offense that really hasn't done a whole lot in this game, folks. They've had that last good drive, but before that it was 2 3-and-outs. And with no Jordan Howard after he went out with that broken collarbone, it's going to be on Mitch Trubisky to move the ball. Detroit's going to use their second timeout with 25 seconds to go. Talk this one over as they surveyed the defense. And Chicago's going to respond with a timeout of their own. A little timeout battle here to end the first half. 25 seconds to go here in the second quarter. Detroit with a big 3rd and 2. Chicago with a big 3rd and 2. Got to get a stop here and make sure you don't give too much of an opportunity to the Detroit Lions. Comes out 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 over to the left. Washington in the backfield as Kaya surveying the defense. Right going in motion from the left over to the right. It looks like they're going to toss this one out to Washington. He's got a lot of room. He's to the 10. He's down at the 7-yard line. 15 yards on the play. And great blocking on the outside. The loss of Rick Wagner. That proves to be big for the Lions we thought that would be big for the Lions, but they run over that right side with no Rick Wagner and no problem whatsoever as the Chicago Bears only bringing a 3-man rush on 3rd and 2. And Detroit, their rushing attack hasn't been very good all year, but it seems like the Detroit Lions are recognizing their own tendencies to pass the ball more than they run it. They're seeing Chicago coming out in these 3-down lineman sets. Detroit's going to take the field goal here as they're out of timeouts. With 13 seconds to go, they used the timeout after he went out of bounds, and the field goal's up and good. They're taking their points. They don't want to risk this whatsoever. So no dance for you, Kyle. Tough Nuggets. Kyle wanted the dance. I wouldn't even dance the line score because I don't care who wins the game. As this one is going to be taken from the end zone. They're going to try to make something go, and he's past the 10 to the 15 to the 20. And is firmly stood up at the 21-yard line. 6 seconds to go. You got to think Chicago's just going to kneel this one out. Maybe attempt to run play, but with the injuries we've had in this game, I don't know if you want to risk that. Chicago can get the ball to start the second half. Disgruntled Mariners fans saying, take MLB to the PS4. That's where the real competition is at. I think PS4 has the only Major League Baseball game that I know of that is actually real, which is the show, which is a great game. RBI Baseball is an abomination. So good for you. The MLB's already there, man. Halftime here in Detroit. Detroit up 10-3. Jay Evans saying, definite head scratcher. Got to take a shot at the end zone as the underdog. The Detroit Lions, I don't think they see themselves as an underdog. I don't think anybody sees them as an underdog. I get the records, and again, if this is maybe your first time or you're just going off of this season, it may look like the Bears are favored. The Lions have struggled, but the Lions certainly have not come out like the underdog. They think they're going to win every game, and I think most people would agree. And let's ask the chat. Let's ask those guys who watched the NBL. Are the Detroit Lions even sitting here at 8-5? They're still primed for a playoff spot. Would you still consider them a Super Bowl contender? Would you still consider, I don't want to say a favorite, as a nice post pat on the left side. Trubisky only his 4th pass on the day. It's complete down to the 46-yard line, first down for the Bears. Would you still consider the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl contender? Not a favorite, but maybe one of the 4 teams you think you could see coming out of the NFC. Kyle's saying, hell no, they're not an underdog. They're the defending champs. Yeah, they as that pass way off target, had a man underneath. It was Kendall Wright, but Trubisky got a little excited on that throw. J-Rod saying contender. Yes, disgruntled Mariners fans. No, I meant NBL, my bad. I assumed you didn't come here. I mean, you're a Mariners fan. I don't know if you really want to talk baseball. But Mariners rough end of the season, by the way. 2nd and 10. as that one was just a straight-up coverage sack. DJ Hayden went nice move on the outside, bringing down Mitch Trubisky for a loss. Going to bring him a 3rd and 18. Man, oh man, the Chicago Bears are in trouble, folks. At the top of the NFC North, they need a big play from their offense at some point. No Jordan Howard. They're going to need something to happen in the passing game. As Trubisky dropping back to pass, only a 3-man rush. He tosses this underneath. It's complete, but it's going to get nowhere near the first down to Miller. They're going to be forced to punt from the 48-yard line, and this Bears offense, this is the problem, and this might be something to watch as we get these last couple weeks, because with no Jordan Howard, this offense fairly inept at moving the ball. That Trubisky is not prepared to run this passing attack. It's a beautiful punt. It's just going to go into the end zone. And the Detroit Lions get the ball on the 20-yard line. Disgruntled Mariners fans, yeah, the Mariners are embarrassment. That Mariners team, they've got some pieces, man. I'm telling you, Felix Hernandez is an ace. Iwakuma, he can be good if he stays healthy. They just need some bats. They need some players. They're probably 2 years away, but they can compete because they play in a tough division, though. And that's one where you got to compete with Mike Trout and the Angels, who I think are on the way up. That's a tough division. As Kyle was looking for the swing route, and it was 100% covered. There's no other route. The Bears just got to come after him as he just tosses that one out of bounds. Yeah, that's a tough division, though, and it doesn't help that the Houston Astros are there, because they're pretty good. Comment Miller saying Lions not turn the ball over for that Chicago D quarterback controversy in Detroit. No, J-Rod said exactly what I was going to say. Never a quarterback controversy in Detroit. It's going to be the Matt Stafford show until Matt Stafford can't do it anymore. 2nd and 10 for Kaya and the Lions, as I think they're going to get him for an offside. Yeah, neutral zone infraction. The Chicago Bears getting a little antsy trying to get after the quarterback. They're going to give a free 5 yards after Detroit. They ran that little halfback swing. Only one route there was well covered. Chicago able to get a stop on that play, but they give him 5 yards anyway. Now it's 2nd and 5 for the Detroit Lions. Ball on the 25-yard line. Pistol formation for Brad Kaya. 3 wide receivers over the left. 1 tight end on the right side. Kaya dropping back to pass here. He'll toss it underneath once again to Eric Ebron. Had to make a diving catch. That one a little inaccurate. It's going to be a 2-yard gain. Going to bring him a 3rd and 3. Kaya 14-17. Only 173 yards. He's really only taken 1 deep shot, and it was a touchdown. It was 40 yards down the field. But other than that, it's been underneath all day long for Kaya and the Lions. And the Bears have been very willing to give it up as 4 wide receivers out there for the Detroit Lions. Kaya dropping back to pass here on 3rd and 3. And he'll look over to the left side, a nice intermediate route to Eric Ebron. Ebron, a big part of this offense, folks. They love Ebron's size and what he can do after he catches the ball. It's his 5th catch on the day. And when he stays in bounds, he's so big and so physical that if he's able to hold on to the ball, which has been his one weakness, is the drop bug. If he can hold on to the ball, he can be a weapon once it's in his hands. It's 1st and 10. It's going to hand off to Washington over the right side. He'll get a couple on the play up to the 36-yard line. By a couple, that's only 1. We'll call it a long one, too. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8. One of our moderators, Shadow Rose, saying always a quarterback controversy in Jacksonville. Yeah, buddy, you got a rough little quarterback. I don't know, trio at this point? I don't know if it's a trio. I don't know if it's a quartet, but it's rough in Jacksonville. Watch that BTF Jacksonville Jaguars. You'll see some of his pain. As pistol formation for Brad Kaya, 2nd and 8. It's a play-action pass. He's looking over to the left side. A beautiful timing route to Golden Tate down to the 49-yard line, getting 13 yards on the play. Yeah, and as I was talking about the Mariners, if you don't like baseball, I'm so sorry. I do. Yeah, the Cano contract is a big problem. Robbie Cano, who was talented at one point, I still think has a lot left in his bat, but he is just a liability on the field because he just frankly doesn't give his all the time. So if they can get rid of the Cano contract, you could see something interesting because they've got some pitching. They get some back-end pitching and maybe another bat. This could be a team that could challenge for the wild card. Comment Miller saying those 3rd down conversions are so disheartening. Yeah, absolutely. 1st and 10 for the Lions. Kaya rolling out to the left side. He's going to throw this all the way back to the right side. And, well, it looked like Washington was about ready to sit on the Bears bench by the time the ball got there. 2nd and 10 now for the Lions. Lions very methodical. We saw an explosive play on the first drive, but this has been what the Detroit Lions have turned into, folks. If you like that explosive vertical offense, that they are not anymore. They are methodical, and they work their way down the field without trying to avoid as many turnovers, especially with Brad Kaya at the helm. With Matt Stafford, you can sort of trust his arm strength, try to make some of those tougher throws, but for Kaya, it's all about timing, and it's all about just making sure that you make the right throw and don't turn the ball over, because if the turnovers happen, that's where Chicago gets so many points. As the rush right up the middle was about to get there, but another in route comes in, and Marvin Jones takes a big hit, but it's another first down. Kaya 17-21. He has been accurate all day long, and the Chicago Bears defensive line has not been able to get to the quarterback. I'd be interested to see if the Bears are going to bring any pressure. They brought some pressure in the first half. Were able to get a sack on Brad Kaya, but since then they've been dropping 7-8 into coverage, and the defensive line is not able to get to the quarterback. He's Washington right up the middle. He's going to get to the 29-yard line. Give him 5 yards on the play, and if Chicago's going to have any success, they're going to have to get to Brad Kaya and force him to make some quick throws. Good question posed by our very own NBL Network. Is Kaya doing better than Matt Stafford? Pricey tonight he is. Yeah. I think Stafford probably wouldn't be doing too well right now. 2nd and 5. Kaya dropping back pass. He'll toss it underneath to Eric Ebron, who has another first down at the 21-yard line. Give him 8 yards on the play. Yeah, that drag route has been there all day long for the Lions, as Chicago continue to play cover 3 and just have not been able to cover any of those underneath routes. It seems like every time they maybe switch up the defense, they drop into man. Detroit comes back with an in route or an out route, and Detroit hasn't had to push it downfield. They've been able to just move it very methodically, as Kaya in the shotgun. Jones coming to motion from the right all the way over to the left side on 1st and 10. It's going to be handoff to Washington, trying to find some room on the right side, and he has some room as he cuts it back up the middle to the 11-yard line. 4 yards per carry so far for Washington. 10 carries. I think that's the most carries I've ever seen from the Detroit Lions on NBL Live, maybe at all. This is a team that usually throws it so much. You're seeing 5-6 rushing attempts a game. They're at 10 already. NBL Network making a great point. Bears need to stop playing back so much. Get out of those drop zones. Get out of those cover 3s. Play your cover 2s. Force them to beat you deep, because you got to test Brad Kaya's arm. If you just let him throw underneath and let him throw intermediate routes, Kaya's going to have success. Those are the easy ones to throw. 1st and 10. That's going to be a false start for the Lions. That's going to back them up 5 yards. Another penalty for that offensive line. Bring up a 1st and 15. If you missed the beginning of our game, first of all, thanks for tuning in. I'm OSU, and we've had some big injuries in this game. Jordan Howard, on what was his 3rd carry of the game, he goes down with a broken collarbone. He'll be out for a while, probably through the playoffs. And on the Detroit side, Rick Wagner, 1st game back from a broken foot, compound fracture. He'll be out for the season, so they lose their right tackle. 1st and 15. It's a handoff to Theo Riddick up the middle. He gets maybe a yard. We'll give him 2 up to the 14-yard line. Bring up a 2nd and 14. And while we have a moment here, as we're nearing the end of the 3rd quarter, we want to give a big shout-out, as always, to our graphic sponsor. That's web3ks.com. They do that overlay right here on NBL Live. You see it, in this area. It's at the outside and the inside. They do that. They do other graphics for us on the pregame show and on all of our NBL Network programming. Big shout out to all business over at web3ks.com. So if you need graphics, or anyone you know needs graphics for an affordable price, head over to web3ks.com. They are the leaders in affordable graphic design. 2nd and 14, Washington getting another carry. It's his 11th of the day. He's going to get up to the 10-yard line, bring up a 3rd and 9. And the Bears need a stop badly. If they can get a turnover here, that would be huge, but the big one is don't let him in the end zone, because if you let him in the end zone, you need 2 touchdowns, and your offense hasn't done anything. And one of the stats we don't talk about a whole lot here on NBL Live, the Lions, which is a rarity, controlling time of possession, just holding onto the ball and working their way down the field. They're on, I believe, they've got to be at a 14-play drive at this point. As that's going to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. 10-3, Detroit on top, looking to keep their divisional hopes alive. And, of course, try to just seal up a playoff spot. They'll surely be in the playoffs, folks. Don't worry about that one. Lions needing a 1st down. They have 9 yards to go. 1st down's at the 1-yard line. They don't need to get in the end zone to get the 1st. Let's see what they come out with. Brad Kaya comes out 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and Theo Riddick in the backfield on 3rd and 9. They're going to hand off. They're going to run it on 3rd and 9, and Riddick's going to get 7 of that one back. It's going to bring up a 4th and 2. Lions playing it very conservatively, using the clock. And they're going to take a field goal. That's something we haven't seen at all, folks. If you've watched NBL Live before, they usually are ready to gun it in the end zone. But on 3rd and 9, Detroit, knowing what they have going on, they'll take the field goal and turn it back over to the defense, who has held Chicago in check. This Bears offense has not been able to do anything without Jordan Howard. They can't get it going. 13-3. Porter saying Bomber going to miss the playoffs. Yeah, I will bet you some money on that one. And if you'll take that bet, I'm treating everyone to dinner because I'm gonna win some money, folks. Lions are gonna be in those playoffs. Darice, welcome to NBL Live. Appreciate you tuning in. Here to broadcast number 129, week 15 action, folks. Again, hit that subscribe button. We're going to have a ton of live games coming up as we hit the playoffs. We broadcast every round. We broadcast a doubleheader of the AFC and NFC Championship game, and our Super Bowl show is one of our biggest that we do here for season 26. And then we'll be working our way towards the draft, so you don't want to miss any of the great content coming out. Hit that subscribe button. As a nice play there. And we up to the 41-yard line. Only the 7th pass attempt for Trubisky. Chicago's offense has been abysmal all game. Gotta stay hydrated here on NBL Live. 2nd and 1 for the Chicago Bears. Mitch Trubisky comes out. 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. And Jeremy Langford in the backfield. He's in the shotgun on 2nd and 1 as he surveys the Lions defense here with 5:14 to go. It's a play action pass for Trubisky. The linebacker bit hard. He got a man over the middle. It's complete down to the 30-yard line. Oh, what a nice play action fake by Mitch Trubisky. And you saw the middle linebacker who was in the middle of that zone. Could have checked Zach Miller. Instead, he bit on the run fake, and that left the seam route wide open. 1st and 10 for the Chicago Bears. Mitch Trubisky in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers three wide receivers out there. He's on 1st and 10. He looks to the sidelines. I believe he caught that one. He did. He's got his feet in downs at the 25-yard line. He'll bring about 2nd and 6. Kyle Matt Miller saying, but how far will they go without Stat Padford? I don't know. Brad Guy has shown a lot today, but I think when you get up against some of the other defenses and some of the very good teams in the NFC, I think if they don't have old Matt Stafford as this throw over to the left side, can't come up with a catch there in front of Lawson. It's going to be a huge 3rd down here for the Chicago Bears. I think if they don't have Matt Stafford, which he's out for 4 more weeks, I believe, which would put him coming back in the divisional round, maybe the conference championship, depending on when they want to bring him back. He might be able to come back wild card round. I think if they don't have him, I think this team is still going to be fine. Because I think Kai at the helm gives them, I think, 2 options. I think with Matt Stafford as play action pass, he's going to toss this underneath. He's got Zach Miller wide open for the 1st down, and Miller gets out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the play. I think with Brad Kaya, and I'm going to make a bold statement here. I think with Brad Kaya, this team is better. And I don't mean more talented. I mean, with Kaya, you've seen the coaching staff run the ball. You've seen them be more thoughtful as to what they're going to do. Whereas with Matt Stafford, they just want to air it out as Trubisky. He has a man wide open, and it's a touchdown, Chicago. What a drive. Where has this offense been all day, folks? As Chicago's able to get it in the end zone. A quick score, and they're going to cut this back. It's a 4-point lead right now. Ball is down, kick is up, and it is good, and it's 13-10. What a big play for the Chicago Bears. But I don't want to say better, because I think Matt Stafford is clearly the choice in Detroit. But when Stafford's on the field, they want to air it out. They throw it downfield. With Brad Kaya, you've seen them. They've run the ball 14 times a day, something we never see from the Lions. They are really thoughtful. They work more inside. They're less risky. And I think that works to their advantage when they play teams who've seen Detroit Lions of past. You've seen the Chicago Bears team. They have played back in the zone. They're only rushing 3 and 4 and not bringing any pressure because they're scared what'll happen over top. And Detroit has been very content to just toss it underneath. I think with Brad Kaya at the helm, this team is okay, but I don't think they defend their Super Bowl title. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are too good, folks. As it's shotgun formation, and Kaya's going to take a deep shot. They're about 4 Bears down there. That one is the easiest pick. As the first mistake, they try to push it downfield, and Amos with the interception. And all of a sudden, the Bears have an opportunity, folks. 4:23 to go. They just got the ball back. We have a game on NBL Live. First and 10 for the Chicago Bears. 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 to the left. Play action pass. They want Trubisky to be throwing this ball. He rolls out to the left side, doesn't see anyone open. Oh, he's going to toss it over the middle. He has a man. It's a first down. He's got more up to the 21-yard line. Mitch Trubisky keeping the play alive. Oh, what a play by the Bears as they're down almost in the red zone. As Mitch Trubisky with his arm finds Kevin White for 45 yards. Oh, that turnover, huge for the Chicago Bears as they're going to hand off on first and 10 to Jeremy Langford. He's got a first down to the 11-yard line. The crowd is stunned right now, and the Chicago Bears looking like the 10-3 team for the first time all game. First and 10, Chicago, 3 wide receivers, 2 over to the right, 1 to the left. Langford in the backfield with Mitch Trubisky. No mistakes here if you're Chicago. As on first down, they're going to hand it off to Jeremy Langford. He's got a nice hole up to the 7-yard line, giving him 4 yards on the play. Be interested to see if Chicago keeps it on the ground here. But man, oh man, we talk about how Detroit has had so much success just playing underneath. The Bears playing a little scared. They wanted to play back, make sure they don't get beat over the top. The Lions finally take a deep shot, and it's in that quadruple coverage. Oh, thank you for the subscription as the handoff is to Jeremy Langford trying to find something. He gets no gain on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 7 as Ziggy Ansah's first tackle on the game. 2:49 and counting. If you're Chicago, you want to get in the end zone. You want that lead, but mostly you want to make sure you get at least a field goal out of this one and don't give the ball back to Detroit with too much time. 2:38 and counting. Shotgun, I formation. They're coming out big set. They're going to want to pound the ball here. 3 tight ends. It's a toss play to Langford. He's going to try to cut it up the middle, and he ran into his own blocker and goes down for only a 1-yard gain. And now Chicago, they're going to kick a field goal to tie this game up from the left hash. They're at the 6-yard line. Mark this one up. Just a 23-yard field goal. It's through the uprights. We've got a tie ball game here on NBL Live. But the dangerous Detroit Lions offense is going to get the ball back just over 2:15, just over the 2-minute warning. So they'll probably have the 2-minute warning to go as they're going to get a fair catch here. 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. We've seen the Lions do this in the past, folks. Again, if you take a sample size of one game, folks, NBL Bleacher Report, Explosive, have you watched this game? Yes, I have. And if you take a sample size of one game, you're going to go 0-16 because you don't understand how trends works. This team can be explosive. We saw an explosive play on the very first drive for the Lions. They went 45 yards over the top. That can happen at any point. I'm not saying they have been explosive all game. I'm saying they have the potential to be explosive. In the same way that gasoline that is sitting in your car is not exploding right now, but it has the potential. This Lions team has the potential. It's just a matter of if they decide to try to take advantage of it with Brad Kaya as a play-action pass. He goes over to the left side. It is going to be the Golden Tate. He's going to lose a couple yards. Kaya doesn't need to throw the ball deep. Yes, we saw him throw an interception there. This wide receiving core, yes, J-Rod, thank you. They have playmakers. It's not about Kaya throwing it deep. Kaya doesn't have to make a play. Put the ball in your hands of your playmakers. Ebron, you have Tate, you have Jones, all guys who can get downfield. If they get the ball to their playmakers, they only need to make 1-man miss, 2-man miss, and they're down the field and in a hurry. They don't have to go very far. 2 minutes to go. We've hit the 2-minute warning, and it's a tie ball game. Detroit's new uniforms, Detroit's new threads are the best uniforms in the NFL. Absolutely. Kaya couldn't hit water if he fell out of the boat. I would like to point out that apart from that one interception, he's only had 5 incompletions on the day. He has been very solid for the Detroit Lions. Shotgun formation for Kaya. 3 wide receivers out there. 2 over to the right, 1 to the left. Washington in the backfield. 2nd and 13. Kaya dropping back to pass. Blitz is coming. It's picked up beautifully. And Brad Kaya has a lot of room on the right side. He has the first down. He's going to slide down to the 37-yard line. And 1:50 to go. The Lions have a first down, and they don't have very far to go to get into field goal range. 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions. Brad Kaya comes out. Shotgun formation with Washington. He's got 3 wide receivers. 2 over to the right. Tate alone to the left. And it looks like it's going to be hand up to Washington right at the middle. And a huge block. And Washington looking to break tackles. Explosive, something. They're on the 43-yard line. They're just outside of field goal range. And that was in 30 seconds, folks. That's what I'm talking about. There are playmakers on this team. If you count out the Detroit Lions, they will burn you. Chicago now going to have to start thinking about those timeouts. They need a stop. They need to keep them here because it's about a 60-yard field goal. 1st and 10. Ebron coming in motion from the right over to the left. And on 1st down, it's going to be handoff to Washington right up the middle. Breaks one tackle, can't break the second. No gain on the play. Going to bring up a 2nd and 10. A good question from the NBL Network. Why quarters defense? Absolutely. This team, they can't come out. If they keep coming out in this soft coverage, you know Detroit's just going to toss it underneath, and they only need 5 yards to have a real good shot at a field goal. 10 yards to have a real good shot. 3 tight ends to the right side. Golden Tate, the only wide receiver out there on the left side. Washington into the game. 58 seconds and counting. Detroit using up all the clock they can. They don't want even a chance to give the ball back to the Chicago Bears. We've done a great job at coming back in this game. Kaya dropping back down. Pass on 2nd and 10. He's looking over the left side, and that one to no man's land is incomplete. Stop the clock at 46 seconds. Gonna bring up a 3rd and 10. Yeah, they do have a great kicker in Matt Prater. Prater the greater. He knows how to bomb it from deep. It's a 60-yard field goal from here, folks. Be interested to see what Detroit decides to do. Do they just run the ball and not risk a turnover? We just saw a pass there from Brad Kaya. Off target. So off target, it was no chance of being intercepted. Do they try for something underneath, or do they just run the ball and make sure that they have a chance to take the lead? Shotgun formation for Kaya. 3 wide receivers over to the left. Eric Ebron split out to the right, and Chicago's going to use one of those timeouts they need to save so badly. But at this point, folks, I think Chicago is in the territory of they just if Detroit gets a couple yards and kicks a field goal, they're in trouble anyway, so make sure you have the right defense out there. Again, 3 wide receivers, 3 over to the left side. Eric Ebron alone on the right side. It's a 3rd down. Kaya dropping back to pass, only 3-man rush. He's looking deep over the right side for Marvin Jones with a big catch at the 19-yard line. And just like that, they have a 1st down. Chicago can only stop the clock once. Something, count out the Detroit Lions. They look primed to come away with a win and make sure they keep their division hopes alive. 13 all. Kaya comes out. 2 tight ends. They're just going to kneel the ball, run this clock down, and make sure they have a field goal attempt. It's going to be on the kicker, Matt Prater, and the special teams offensive line to make sure that Prater gets it off cleanly. We've seen blocks, folks. We've seen blocks. Field goals are too unpredictable. You convert them 9 times out of 10, but the minute that you need one for the win, the minute the defense knows they need a block to keep the game alive, that's when sometimes the skies part, everything comes together, and you're able to get a block and save your game. It's different when you're kicking a field goal that's, you know, you're in the 2nd quarter. They're not really going for the block. They're not going real hard. But right now, Chicago needs a block, and you never know what will happen as this clock running down. 20 seconds and counting for the Detroit Lions. They're going to run this down all the way. Matt Prater from the 22-yard line. This is a 39-yard field goal for the win, folks, to keep their division hopes alive. The magic number for the Bears is at 1. Detroit will hold the tiebreaker over the Bears at this point if they're able to get a win. 3 seconds to go. Ball is down. The kick is up. It's through the uprights. The Detroit Lions, oh man, call them an underdog. They're the defending Super Bowl champions, and they come away with a huge win today at home over the Chicago Bears on a last-second field goal. Oh, what a game. Finally coming away with a nice game here on NBL Live, folks. It's been rough this year. We've seen a lot of blowouts. We've had to talk about everything from movies to our favorite pizza toppings with the games that have been on NBL Live. But we got a great one today in the Detroit Lions. They keep their hopes alive, and a great point. A lot of Bears mismanagement, especially on that last drive, using all those timeouts. They ended up just sort of giving the game away and mostly coming out in some weird formations, coming out quarters defense, coming out, I mean, really, at that point in the game, if you get beat over top, okay, it happens, but at least you have an opportunity because they score. If you just play quarters, they're just going to chunk it away and use all the time. It's going to be interesting to see how this division comes down. Again, the Chicago Bears, they fall to 10-4, still on top of the NFC North. But all of a sudden, look who's knocking on the door. The Detroit Lions moved to 9-5 on the season. And the Bears just need to win in one of their last... They need to win their last 2 games if they want to be sure that they get it. They got 2 games left. Because if they end up tied, if they lose one of those games and the Lions win out, Lions end up with their 15th straight division title. Let's have our selection for the NBL Live Player of the Game here for broadcast number 129. J-Rod put it on the nose. Maybe just a giant I told you so to the Bleacher Report guys here in the chat. The player of the game is Brad Kaya, because at the end of the day, he made the plays. He made the plays. He had some bad plays, and by some bad plays, I mean 2. He had 2 bad throws all day. The interception that was a massive overthrow, and then on that last drive, he had 1 pass at an intermediate route that was wide open. He missed it. But when it came down to it, Brad Kaya made the plays. He found Marvin Jones for a huge pass on 3rd and 9 to the 19-yard line and got them a win. Brad Kaya is your NBL Live Player of the Game here for broadcast number 129. If you want to check out all the archives of our Player of the Game selections, head over to our website, 365.maddenbomberleague.com. From broadcast 1 all the way to right now, you can check out all the Player of the Games. You can check out everything from our Owners Hall of Fame to our Players Hall of Fame. You can even apply for the NBL under the Join tab. So again, 365.maddenbomberleague.com. That's going to do it for our NBL Live game, folks. Follow us on Twitter at Bomber League. That's where we will update our NBL Live schedule. We may have a game this weekend. We're trying to avoid doing games on the weekends, mostly because there's just so much other football out there, folks. We don't want to take away time from you guys watching the great college football games on Saturday nights and the NFL games on Sunday. So we're trying to avoid as much weekend as we can. But as we get to next week and it's playoff time here in the NBL, you're going to want to tune in because we'll have some great games. Appreciate everybody who tuned in today. It was a lot of fun, everybody in chat. I'm OSU. Your final score, once again, the Detroit Lions come out with a huge victory, keeping their division hopes alive, 16-13 over the Chicago Bears. We will see you next time right here on NBL Live.